Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Love Marriage Fantasy Podcast. I am your co-host, Anton Leonard Claiborne. I am a global relationship strategist, and I am a relationship intimacy advisor. Who is here with me today? What's your name?
I'm his wife.
Yeah.
I am your love and life coach. I am your confidence coach. I am your global relationship strategist. And together we work with couples, we work with women, helping them to find their sexual confidence, helping couples enhance the bedroom experience, enhance their relationships, learn how to live together, be together as one, and doing it all while learning how to maintain their individualism while working together as a team. So today we have with us another awesome podcaster, Kim Martin. And Kim, I'm going to turn this over and let you introduce yourself really quick, and then we'll jump right into what we have going on for this episode.
Awesome. First of all, thank you both for allowing me this platform to come and to share with you guys today. I'm excited to be here. Like Star said, my name is Kim Martin Raymond. I am a minister. I am a spiritual life coach. I'm an author, and I'm also the host of the How Now podcast, where we talk about how to live in the now. So that's who I am. That's what I do. And thanks again for having me today.
All right. This is going to be a good episode, everybody. So y'all pay attention and listen to what Kim has to share with you. The most interesting thing that Kim mentioned to me was her struggle. So Kim, I would like to start with that. I know you to sum it up, you said that you have you went through a lot in a short period of time, right?
Yes,
in a short time span. Okay, yes. So I don't know where. I'll let you take it over from here. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yes, we'll start at the beginning because that's a beautiful place to start. And like I said, I'll keep it brief because I want us to be able to really dive into some of the victories that came as a result of this. I will fast forward to moving here. I moved to Atlanta, to the Atlanta area back in 1996. And I came with my daughters. My daughters at the time were 3 and 7 years old. And so I came 13 months after I moved here. I moved into my home, and I moved into my home on my youngest daughter's 5th birthday. She thought that she was getting a house for her birthday, and I said, it just goes downhill from here. So I said, you won't be getting anything else, anything bigger than this. But I remember that clearly. And, things were going well. I was, working for the school system. I was married, he was married with, my husband was my ex-husband, now was a cat lover. And so, I had the cats, I had the house, I had the car, I had the career, the children. Yep. Everything was going well. And fast forward to October 11th, 2009. I was working on my master's degree, and I was taking some intensive classes on the weekend, and I came home, and my youngest daughter was taking the braids out of her hair. I was going to take her to go and get her hair done the following day. It was around Columbus Day, I believe. And so they were having a break, and I was, just talking to her and just saying, hey, okay, make sure you do your hair the night before. I was telling her, make sure you get your hair out. I had come home that evening, and I was looking for her. I came in, and I said, where is she? And they were like, oh, she's still sleeping. My husband at the time and my oldest daughter, they were like, well, she's asleep. And I was like, okay. My oldest daughter was not feeling well. So I checked her throat because she said her throat was bothering her. I sent my ex-husband to go and get 2 new toothbrushes. I said, well, maybe she has a little, infection or something. So I wanted to make sure that she was okay. And started cooking and everything. And I was like, where's my daughter? My daughter's name is Kathleen. We called her Kitty. And so I was like, where's Kitty? So my husband came back with the toothbrushes, and I was like, let me find out what color toothbrush she wants. So I went into her room, and she was laying on the floor. And I was like, okay, that was no big thing. She was always laying on the floor. And I said, yep, she was 6'1". So I was like, she's tall, but I was like, what I buy this extra long bed for if she's gonna sleep on the floor? So I immediately jumped on her back and I was saying, wake up, baby, wake up, wake up. And in that moment, I realized that she was not snoring. She snored like a bear. Okay. I said, she's not snoring. And then all of a sudden I was like, wait a minute, she's not breathing. And I turned her over and I went to start CPR and my baby was gone. And I remember calling my ex-husband and my daughter and just saying, call 911, call 911. I said, she's gone. And the weight of it, still, you're in a surreal space because you're saying the words out of your mouth, but it still hasn't impacted you enough to be like, okay, all I knew to do was to act, to respond. I taught special education. I worked with a lot of medically fragile children, so I just knew to respond. And so after I did that, I remember the coroners coming. I remember them telling us to go outside while they examined her and prepared to take her out of the house. And when the ambulance came, because I've lived in this subdivision for years, I remember neighbors coming out, people coming across the street. They were like, what happened? What happened? And, I said, my baby is gone. And I just remember them making a prayer circle. I remember us praying. And then I remember them bringing her out of the house. And I remember standing in the street, just watching the truck go down the street. And I just stood there. I didn't know what else to do. And then I just remember falling to my knees because it was just like, she's gone. She's gone. And I remember coming in the house. I had contacted my parents and, started calling my relatives. And, my parents started making their way here. And I was stunned. And I remember closing her door, and it would be 8 months before I could go back in her room. Because every time I went in there, I could still smell her. I could still sense her there. And that was the hardest thing. I just wasn't ready. So I just kept the door closed. We navigated through the house. We did things, but I couldn't go in the room. When I finally did, I wanted to snatch her out of heaven because my child was a hoarder. There were so many things in her room, and I was like, girl. But I just remember like, child, come down here and clean this room.
Right.
I wanted to say to her. But, the one thing that I have to say in the whole experience is that I was always taught, to love the Lord. And I said, he doesn't make mistakes. So there was never a time to this day that I was ever angry at God for taking my baby. It was her time to go, and he does not make mistakes. And so it was up to me to determine what happens after this. How do I proceed from here? What is it that I'm supposed to understand or to glean from this? Because that's my baby. But I knew that there was something that I was supposed to do. Yeah. Another thing that, resonated with me is that, yes, I lost my baby, but my oldest daughter lost her only sister. So now she went from having a sibling to being an only child. And she needed me too. So I knew that I couldn't die with my baby. I needed to be here for my daughter. I needed to be here for my parents, because they only had 2 granddaughters at them. Well, I had 3 granddaughters, and now they're down a granddaughter. I had to be here for those who needed to understand what happened. And I didn't know what happened. And it would be almost 3 months before they were able to determine why she passed away. She had a brain aneurysm, and she had the type of brain aneurysm that manifests itself between the ages of 15 and 20. And it's like a cluster of blood vessels that are on the back of your head. And what happens is they all burst at the same time. And you either are in a vegetative state or you pass away instantly because your brain is just covered with blood, and you pass away instantly. And that's what happened in her case. And
So she didn't suffer.
no, no, she
That's
had passed in her sleep.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what happened was, my daughter, like I said, she was 6'1". She was a big girl. And so, people were like, oh, maybe she had a stroke. There were many people who looked at me like, maybe it was because she wasn't eating right, she wasn't doing this. She was very active. She was, she would tell people, she was like, I'm academic, I'm not athletic because of her height. People thought she would be playing basketball and all those things. And she was just like, no, but, she was in the marching band. She was just very active in things that she did. And so, it was difficult for people to look at you and you're not understanding why, and you're trying to figure out, was it anything that I could have done? And, they told me there was not anything that I could have done. There were not any signs. They were like, well, was she having a lot of headaches? No, not to my, not to my recollection was she having a series of headaches that would have made me say, honey, she's getting a whole lot of headaches. That wasn't the case at all. But they said that it happens, and they said there was not anything that I could have done. And so I made peace with that, because as a parent, you want to take care of your children. You want to make sure that there wasn't anything that you could have done to prevent it.
Right.
And there wasn't anything that I could have done at that time. And so during that period of time, when she passed, I was going through a divorce with my husband. And my daughter had just graduated. My oldest daughter had graduated college, and 2 months from then, she had already booked her tickets and everything. She was moving back up to New York to help my parents with my aging grandmother. And so, she went up there. She got her degree in video game design and development. And I was like, great. She's going to New York. She's going to try to, get into the business, get into gaming, as a young African-American young girl. And I was like, yes, go do it. So, those things were going on. So here it is. My daughter passed away. I was going through a divorce, and I was empty nesting, all within a 3-month period.
Wow.
So I went from having a house full of people to living by myself for the first time ever. When I left my parents' house, I already had my oldest daughter. So I have always lived with someone, whether it was my child, whether it was a spouse, I always lived with someone. And here it was, I was in this house by myself. And I remember sitting on the steps after everyone was gone, because she passed away in October. My daughter left in December, and the divorce was final in January. And so he moved out right at the beginning of February. I remember sitting on the stairs and just saying, what now? What do I do with myself? That's when you realize that you're defined by the roles that you play.
Yeah, other people.
And I sat there, and it was the first time that I said, okay, so now what am I supposed to do? Because I didn't know what to do, because everything was centered around family, the roles and responsibilities that I have at work, all of those things. Those were the things that resonated with me. I remember shortly thereafter going to Walmart to go food shopping. I had $300 worth of groceries in the cart before I got up to the register and remembered there's nobody at the house. Yeah, where you getting all these groceries for?
Mm-hmm.
And then I said, okay, well, I'll just pick out the things I like and I'll just get what I want. I just wound up walking out of the store because I didn't even know what I liked. You get chips for this one, and this one likes this one, and this like that.
Right.
And everything was always for everybody else.
Wow.
So I didn't know who I was, what I liked, And I think the hardest question that came back to me was a friend of mine said, well, Kim, now your daughter, you're empty nested. I know you're missing your baby, and now you're divorced and you can date and do other things. What do you like to do? The simplest question. What do you like to do? I could not answer the question because
Kim,
I had not liked.
let me jump in for just a second, Kim,
Sure.
because I was trying to ask you this question earlier when you
I'm
were,
sorry.
talking. No, it's okay. Because I realized it was good for you to continue because you actually said something that could probably help you to answer this question. Was there a mantra, or was there an affirmation that you were using during this period that helped you to, get back into loving Kim?
I don't know that it was a mantra more than it was just a belief. Like I said earlier, that whole God doesn't make mistakes. He doesn't make mistakes. Kim, he does not make mistakes. And what is he trying to tell you? And I had to be still and listen to that still small voice. What is it that you have for me, God? What is it that you're wanting me to learn? What is it that you're wanting me to understand out of this whole experience? And that was it. I don't think there was a mantra. There are 3 words that I'm going to share towards the end of the show that I think exemplify, where my journey started. But, that was the thing. It was, what now? What do I do now? How do I proceed? That's kind of where my mindset was. It was like, I don't know what to do because I don't know what I like. And so that's where the whole journey of, okay, Kim, you got to start with loving you. You got to start with figuring out who you are. You have to redefine, and I say redefine, that's the name of my business, redefining you, because I needed to get to a space of figuring out, who I was, where I was going, what kind of relationships were going on around me. And that's when I started taking inventory of me. That's where the love affair with myself started. I was like,
So, well, I wanted to ask you that question. I'm gonna let you. I wanted to ask you that question because I went through something similar where I lost my firstborn, but I'm not going to get into that. I just want you to know that I can relate to your experience. Yes. Okay, but I had that moment where I was sitting down like you were on the steps, but I was outside on my front porch, and I was thinking, okay, so what am I going to do now? Because my whole life was centered around all of my goals, I should say, let me be more clear. All of my goals were centered around the raising of my son, helping my son to live a better life than what I lived. So after he moved on, I had no purpose. At least I felt I didn't have any purpose until I started, like you, questioning, excuse me, myself. What am I going to do? What am I about? What do I like to do? So do you think that with all of these things happening to you in that short span of time, you were being told it's time for you to rediscover yourself?
Absolutely. Because as children, people ask us, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I want to be a banker, I want to be a ballerina, I want to be a teacher, I want to be a Indian chief. You come up with all these things that you want to be, and then, like I said, you become defined by the roles that you play: mom, dad, worker bee at work. You're defined by so many things. And think about it. You say those things even when you introduce yourself. When people say, "Oh, so who are you?" You say, "Hey, I'm Anton. Hey, I'm Star. I'm a mom. You start ticking off all the things that you are, but then you also don't even contemplate that eventually your children are going to move on and get married and everything like that, and then you're going to empty nest. We're so absorbed in the now which we should be because you're wanting to remember and embrace those experiences that you're having. But then you don't stop and think, okay, so what are we going to do when the kids are gone? And what are we going to do when, people don't really think about that until they close the door and lock it, and then they're looking at each other like, what are we supposed to do?
Yeah, you're faced with that reality.
Exactly. The reality of it all strikes you, and then you're sitting there like, what are we going to do? Or, how are we going to proceed? We've forgotten. And so there should have been a time and space where we've always embraced the things that we loved, and just knowing that we can expand and expound on those things when we get a little older and the kids are gone. You may say, okay, well, we can do this with the business, or we could do this, right now. But once the kids are gone, we could take it to the next level. But we don't tend to do that. We're focused on them, and we lose a little piece of us the more that we give into them. And so that's what I think happens. We lose our focus. Just like you said, you lost your purpose. And you were like, your purpose was for your children only? Your purpose wasn't for anything else? But that's what we're conditioned to believe. That's what we're taught to believe. You take care of your children. Like you said, you want better for them than you had. And so you focus on that, but you forget that, in order for you to do that, you have to be filled. You have to be full. We should be to a point of overflow where we can be so overflowed with the things that are satisfying to us that we can now pour into others. Mm-hmm. But what happens is we tend to pour and pour and pour, and then we're empty, and then we have nothing to give. So that's the one thing that I think we need to be careful in not doing, because we lose our purpose, we lose our focus. Everything becomes about that person or that thing, and we lose us.
Yeah.
And then we can't answer, like you said, that simple question. What do you like to do? You have no idea.
I think that's good that you're saying that, because I know I've been talking to a lot of moms who are going through that empty nesting phase, and even like that year before, they're like, oh my God, next year they're going to be out of the house and they're not going to be here. And my first question to them is, so what are you going to do? And they're like, I don't know. And I'm like, you need to start figuring that out now, because you've let so much of your life pass by where you're so into your children, which is fine, but you've forgotten to give some back to yourself to figure out what you even like, what you love, what you want to do. And so then, now I have these moms in my circle who are like now trying to figure out, okay, they're going to be gone. So let me see, maybe I'll try this, or maybe I'll try that, or maybe I should do this, and just trying to remember those things that they were trying to do before they had kids, right? But Kim, you were talking about how you went through that phase of redefining yourself. What did that look like for you? Like, what were some of the things specifically that you did to help you do that? Because a lot of women will say, oh my gosh, I need to find myself, I need to figure this out, but they don't know what to do to get started.
Right. I think a lot of what happens is we don't know what our purpose is or what our goals are, because sometimes we haven't been introduced to them. Mm-hmm. Some people say, I don't know what my purpose is. Sometimes you're not introduced to that. And I'll give you an example. When I was, going through the loss of my daughter, a lot of people came to me and they said, Kim, this is hard for us because you're the person that we come to when things like this happen. Yeah. We would come to ask you, but now it happened to you. And so now we don't know who to ask, because we would ask you, but it's you. So we don't know what to do. And I just said, just be there. Sometimes what happens is too much to try to find the words or whatever. Sometimes just say, hey, do you need anything? And let that person tell you what they need. And if they say, I'm okay, then go with that. Don't try to do more than you need to do, because then you're forcing it. And then it doesn't come off genuine. And all the person is trying to do is find some sense of normalcy. Okay, so I just wanted to throw that in there. But to answer your question, Star, I had a friend who said, can you make a great coach? I was like, a what? She was like, a coach. I said, like a swimming coach and a sports coach? I didn't know anything about coaching. I had never heard the term before. It just wasn't in my existence. Like I said, I was too busy being a mom and a wife and a work to be and all that. So I didn't know what a coach was. And so in my curiosity, I started looking it up, and I started saying, what is a coach? Let me go and look and see what a coach is. And when I read the description of what a coach was, I was like, oh my God, this is something that I've been doing all my life, I feel like. And I was like, this is something I could do. And then, I took the interest. I started looking into it. I went and I got certified and, and started, helping others to get through it. But I didn't know what my passion was until I was introduced to it. And some just have not been introduced to it. And that's when we have to be in a space of being open. We have to be open to other things that are going on around us. We are so conditioned, especially those of us, I'm 50 years old. Many of us who are in their late 40s and in their mid 50s, we were raised to, do as we were told, to follow instructions. We were told by our parents, hey, you make a great this, or you do, we were told those things that we should do. We didn't take the initiative. We had a very, what you call, adoptive way of thinking. We just did what we were told. We did things because that's what we were told to do. Then there's this intrinsic way that we should be. And that's where we start questioning why we believe the things that we believe.
Right.
And that was something that was critical for me in redefining myself. And I say redefining instead of redefining because it's something that's always been in us. And now we're going to find what it was that we were passionate about a long time ago. Or we're at that place of finding those things that are going to help us discover more about ourselves. And that's what we have to do. We have to be open to learning and growing and asking that critical question. Why do I believe this? Why am I a Democrat and not a Republican? Why do I believe what I believe as far as church is concerned? Am I spiritual? Am I religious? You start asking yourself questions. And that's what I did. I started writing things down. Why do you believe the things that you believe? Why are you passionate about those things? What is something that you've always thought about or didn't know about? And did you go and look? Not on Wikipedia, but did you go to Google Scholar? Let's start there. Let's start small. Did you go there and start looking up some of those things that you've heard? Or are you closed-minded? And a lot of us are closed-minded because we're conditioned and comfortable with where we are, and we're not willing to take those steps to see what things are different.
That is true.
So that's where it started.
So that is a very good point. So I'm going to come in with another question because you just mentioned something that just opened up an opportunity for me to ask this question. And it's going to lead into you talking about your divorce. So I'm prepping you for your answer. So you mentioned we have to stop being closed-minded, right? And that is a fact. We do have to do that, especially when we're considering advancing our life towards being what we want to become versus what other people want us to be. All right, so after your divorce, did you become one of those bitter women, or were you open-minded and said, okay, all men are not dogs. There's still some good ones out there. So what happened with you, Kim? What tell us about the divorce experience, the divorce experience and your victory.
Okay, yeah, turn the volume up. This is about to get real. It's about to get, funny thing that you should ask that, because that divorce, that was my third husband.
Okay.
I am currently married to my fourth husband. So when we talk about transparency, let's just go ahead and be transparent. This is my fourth marriage. So I say that to say that I still believe in love.
Okay.
Every relationship that I was in, I looked at what my role was.
All right.
in why that marriage dissolved. And the first one was hard for me because my parents have been married. This July will be 54 years. They've been together since my mom was 14 and my dad was 17. And they met and my mom was a coat check at the little party that he went to. And they just locked eyes, and they've been in love ever since. My dad still calls my mom his girl. Okay,
Right.
they are in love. So I had every example of what Black love looked like and what strong relationships look like. So why am I on marriage number 4? I never beat myself up because that formula for them as individuals worked for them.
Right.
It was their reality. So I couldn't put that on myself and say, oh, well, just because my parents have a successful marriage, my marriage is going to be successful, because they're two different individuals. I'm different. I do things differently and see things differently. And so for me, the first one was difficult because I was just like, I shouldn't get a divorce. But it was not, there was some toxicity there. And I needed to do what was going to be best for myself and for my children at the time. So, I wasn't angered by that. I was just like, okay, what can I do better the next time that I'm in a relationship? What I'm not going to do is put handles on this and carry all of this baggage into the next relationship or compare that person to the other person. There were different things that took place in each one of those marriages that I was in. The first one, he used drugs. He was a drug abuser. Now, he was the father of my daughter that passed away. My daughter left this earth never knowing that her father had a drug problem, because that wasn't necessary for her to know. All she needed to know is that was her dad and that he loved her. And if there were any other decisions to be made, they were going to be made from the experiences that she had with him. So I never made it about, dogging him or saying, well, he was this and that and the third. No, he is your dad. And I remember she would write cards to him, and we would send her report cards and pictures. And unfortunately, he never wrote her back. And it wouldn't be to almost 2 years after she had passed away that he found out that she passed away. I tried to find him, but I couldn't. I didn't know where he was. And the child support people finally found him. And I just said, can I have his address so I can send him, the obituary and everything? And he said, well, why didn't you tell me that she passed away? I couldn't find you. I've been in the same house for 24 years. I've been here. At the time, I had been in the house 16 years. I said, I've always been here. You've always known where we were. We weren't trying to hide, but I didn't hold those things against him. I sent him the information, and I sent him a little slideshow that some of the kids at the school had made to honor her. And I closed that door. And that gave me closure, because I wanted him to hear from me that she had passed away. I didn't want him to hear from the child support unit or anybody else that she had passed away. I wanted him to hear it from me. And so I extended that hand to that, so that at some point, if he ever went to go looking for her on Facebook and couldn't find her, he would know why. So that was important to me. I just wanted to put that in, because it does tie into the relationships. I never left any of the relationships feeling bitter. Each relationship was different. My second husband, he was very codependent on me. I helped him open his first bank account. I showed him how to do things. And so there were things that I did. I wasn't his wife, I was his therapist. And that was just the long and the short of it. And so, like I said, it was a different experience from my first one. I don't make comparisons with regards to my relationships. Each relationship is different. The one thing that I was careful not to do was to share things. I was always taught, the things that happen within the four walls of your house, you keep them in your house. Right. And you be careful, because when you start sharing things, people are quick to bring those things back up to you and put them in your face. Well, you said that he did this and he did that, and well, why did he do this? If I was going to be with that person, I wanted the decision to be mine. If I was not going to be with that person, I wanted the decision to be mine, because I didn't want to have anybody else to blame when I decided that I wanted to be with that person or I didn't want to be with that person.
Right.
That was a decision that I had to make. So going into each one of these relationships, I went in just saying, okay, what can I do to make the relationship stronger? What are some things that I need to work on within myself that I can bring into this new relationship to enhance it? And bringing baggage doesn't enhance. All it does is weigh things down. Yeah. All it does, it didn't make any sense for me to make any comparisons. My ex-husbands are in no way, shape, or form. One was light skinned and short, one was tall. One was big, one was skinny. They came along. There's nothing that I could say, that, oh, well, it's that same kind of person. Now, there are people who are in relationships and they tend to gravitate towards the same type of person. And I didn't, because each person met me at a different stage in my life. And so they got who I was then, not who I was before. My husband, who I'm married to now, he gets to experience Kim now. Not the Kim from 1994 when I married my first husband. He doesn't get that. He gets the 2019 version of Kim.
Right.
And now, he gets to experience that. And I think that's only fair. When you start carrying in too much baggage, then you're not giving of yourself. You're not giving of the present, And when we talk about the present, what is it? Present is a gift.
Yes.
So I'm trying to be a gift to the person that I'm with right now and not worried about what happened in any of those previous relationships, because that's the downfall. What was it that I could have done better? And I glean from that and I'll leave the rest of that behind. I'm not embittered. I'm not bitter, angry by anything that happened. It just became the reality. And I don't know whether that was, because I lost someone and I know what it's like to lose someone that you love. And I don't know that may have had a part in me just being in that space of saying, okay, let that thing go, but then remember to live, because when you die with that person, you die with that relationship and you start chipping away, there's not going to be any parts of you left. If everything dies with every relationship, what can you do to live? What can you do to grow beyond that point? And so that's how I feel about the relationships. I always had a little hashtag, three, second time's the charm,
Right.
third time, a third time's the charm or whatever, I said my hashtag was one of hashtag 4 and no more, I'm hoping I got it right this time. I'm hoping I got it right this time,
Right.
but I believe in love. I believe in love, and you hope that you get it right, my whole thing is try again, and not to, give up on it. I don't believe in giving up on love. But like I said, my husband now, he's going to get the best version of me, and I hope that we can continue to grow in that space. So yeah, no animosity or anger. It's such as life. It happened,
Right.
but it doesn't. I'm not gonna let it keep happening by keep resurrecting what's dead.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So it sounds like your focus on being a better person over the years has helped you to have more victories. Would you agree with that? Would you say that sounds about right?
Absolutely. I believe that, you know, I don't want to get ahead of myself because, like I said, I want to get my 3 words so bad. But the thing is, I have to be in a space of saying, of being open to any possibilities or anything that, anything that can happen in my life. And I can't do that with my eyes closed. Everything for me is about living in the present. Everything for me right now is about living in the now. Because when you don't, you miss those things that are going on around you. So busy worried about what's going to happen tomorrow, what happened yesterday. I can't enjoy all of the things that are happening. I can't see those things that are going on around me if I've got my face in the phone, if I'm constantly looking over here, I'm not paying attention. What things am I doing to absorb what's happening around me? Because when you're doing that, you're creating a level of awareness. So for me, that's what it is. It's about being aware of the things that are going on around me, being aware of my feelings. And that's a huge thing also that I have to say. Be aware of your feelings. There are days when I may feel sad. I had a moment this morning where I shed a little tear. I was doing some cleaning and I found an old wallet and pulled out pictures, and there were pictures of my daughter in there. And I remembered when those pictures were taken, They were beautiful pictures. I remember trying to get her hair was resistant. Okay, Star, her hair was resistant. So I remember straightening her hair, getting her hair right for that picture. So I was like, oh yes, but I shed a tear, and it was okay because I was like, I remembered, when that picture was taken and what happened in that picture and what that day looked like, and I, basked in that memory. And so that was something. I embraced it. I cried for a minute. I wiped those tears away, and then I went on about the remainder of my day. I don't just discount my feelings. Right. You may feel angry, you may feel sad, you may feel upset. Go ahead and have that moment, but let it be a moment and then move on. Yeah. And I think that's what happened. We get trapped in it, and then it becomes a vacuum, and then we can't get out of it.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, Kim, because even myself, I know sometimes I think about things and I'm like, okay, am I not allowing myself to feel what I need to feel now? Right. Am I running away from that feeling? But, sometimes we get into those moments where we do run away from those feelings, and it affects us in the long run because we forget that we never gave ourselves that time to feel. Exactly. And so then things start loading up on us, and then we go back and look at it again. And it's not until we allow ourselves to really release it to be able to move on from it.
Absolutely. I mean, you are at 100,000% correct on that. We do. I'm always going to miss my daughter. Mm-hmm. Always. She was my mini me. We used to just be laughing just to be laughing. That was my girl. Okay. And so, yes, there's moments when I miss her and the tears fall, and I let them, and it's okay, because that's still part of the grieving process. I'm still missing my baby, but is it every day that I'm on my knees crying and falling? No. And for some people, it's going to look different. For some people, it may take a couple of days. It may to allow ourselves to feel those feelings without being self-conscious about it. Like, oh my gosh, should I be feeling like this way? Or is it okay for me to feel? Yes, it's okay for you to cry. Yes, it's okay for you to be angry. Yeah. As long as you're not doing something that's going to physically or emotionally harm someone else. Take that time, because I have to say this story. Sometimes you have that time of the month and you just feel like, sometimes I got to go give myself a time out. I was like, you know what, Kim, just go over there, sit down somewhere. Right, go sit down somewhere till you ready. Then come back strong.
Just go close the door, be by yourself, breathe, give yourself a moment.
Yes, you need that minute, and that's the thing. Sometimes I just need that minute to go sit down somewhere, check myself, and then come back when I'm ready. And it's okay to do that. And I think that sometimes people do that. They hold it, it gets pent up inside, and the next thing you know, you're being reactive instead of proactive.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah. Right. And that's important to understand the difference between being reactive, right?
Oh yes. Yes.
It's very important to understand that, because there's a difference. There's a huge difference. You don't want to get caught up in reacting.
Yeah.
It can lead to you making decisions that can make things worse for you.
That's right.
So I know I mentioned last time we talked, mentioned something about that poster behind you.
I knew it was coming.
Yes, and actually I am going to be doing.
Okay, so here it comes. Okay. All right, so did you use any form of meditation or were there any spiritual practices or exercises that you used to help you to get to your victories?
Yeah, well, the one part of what I call my journey, because it's still a journey for me of self-discovery and self-awareness. And I'm praise be to God, I'm getting stronger each and every day. And yes, this little what is it, tapestry behind me, yes, is part of what I do. It has chakras on it, and they are aligned. And I think part of my journey was trying to determine why I believe what I believe. You know, I was raised Southern Baptist by my nana, and you know, you just go to church and you wear a little doily on your head and you dress this way and that way. And I remember being horrified when I moved here, and I was like, people wear regular clothes to church? What's the matter with them? They going to hell? You know, I remember all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, I started reading and started, you know, looking at other types of religion and how people express themselves through prayer or through meditation or through worship, how they go about doing that. And I've learned a couple of things. And you know, I learned about Reiki. I learned about doing meditation, and even have certificate. I'm certified to teach meditation, and also am a Reiki master. And I just believe in, you know, that we have an energy in us. And so I'm all about centering myself. I take time to meditate, whether it be a few minutes, you know, before I go into the office. I set the tone in my office space so that way I'm able to do the things I need to do and not be distracted. So there are little things that I do. One thing that I do every day is there are 5 principles of Reiki, but I think that they can be applied to any aspect of your life. So I say 5 things. It says, just for today, I let go of worry. Just for today, I let go of anger. Just for today, I give thanks for my many blessings. Just for today, I will do my work honestly. And just for today, I will be kind to every living thing. I
Okay.
say those 5 things. And I mean, like I said, even though they are principles of Reiki, they're principles for our life. And
Mm-hmm.
so I say that, and it just lets me know it's just for today. Okay. I'm not going to worry about tomorrow. I can't roll the time back to yesterday, but that helps me to stay focused. Just for today, I'm going to let go of those things. I'm going to do those things that are going to honor God. I'm going to do those things that are going to honor those around me. I'm going to love on people. That's what I'm going to do for today. And then if I do that and I make it through today, okay. Then I take time to do my little gratitude. I have a gratitude journal. So I write down 3 things that I was able to do for the day. And they can be the simplest things. Thank you, Jesus, that I turned on the lights and the lights came on. Praise the Lord. The bill was paid. The lights came on, you know. Praise God, you know. Oh, my hair was looking crazy, but you know, it was laid today. Come on, come through, Jesus. Yeah. The look. I mean, and I just say that in just because, you know, but it's the little things. It's the
Right.
little things. Yeah, everything doesn't have to be monumental. Thank you, Lord, that I was able to get up out of bed and put my feet on the floor, and I didn't hit the floor when I put my feet on the floor. They worked. My body was, I was sound of body and mind today. Those are the things that are important that we have to remember. The little things. So for me, it's just for today. Even if that's your mantra, just for today. Just for today, I'm not going to eat that chocolate bar. I'm going to eat healthy. Just for today.
Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow's going to take care of itself.
I might need
You
to say
know?
that every day. Just for today, I'm not going to
Just
eat
for
that
today, honey.
chocolate
Put
bar.
it on a sticky note. Just say, just for today. Dot, dot, dot. Just for today. I'm not going to do it today. They may try to take me. They may try to try me. But just for today, I'm going to hold on. I'm going to hold to his hand. So yes, meditation is a huge part. You know, making sure that I'm reading and staying knowledgeable about the things that are going on around me. I am not a big television watcher or a news watcher, you know, so I hear things sometimes in bits and pieces, and sometimes that's enough
Oh, yeah.
because you don't want to get caught up in that.
Right.
But you want to take time to see what is something that I can do today. What is something that I can do that's going to fill my cup, but also fill me to overflow so that I can pour into others.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
I love that.
That's it. Just for today.
Right, right. So just let me talk to our audience for just a moment. So what you've heard so far, Kim has mentioned meditation, reading, uh, using what would you call it? Would you call that an affirmation?
Yeah, our
5
gratitude
principles
journal.
for journaling. So she's
Mhm.
mentioned several things that she does, but these are things that anyone can do. You can decide to create your own principles to help you get through each day, but you have to decide that that's something you want to do. No one can decide that for you. And that leads that will lead you into, like Kim was saying, redefining yourself. It's a decision you have to make, that you will have to say, I'm going to find out, who am I?
Right.
Who am I? I'm not that person that my friends say I am. I'm not that person my professors say I am. I need to find out who I am. But again, that's a choice you have to make.
And taking the lessons from all of that as well.
Yes.
Looking back and knowing that there's a lesson in everything and there's a reason in everything. And even though you may not understand it now, it's there, and giving it time to manifest itself and come out and say, okay, this is what it is, and this is what you need to take from this, understanding it and learning from it.
Yeah. And I was going to say, if I can piggyback off of that,
Sure.
you know, it's important for you to have that circle as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you want to have those people, you know, sometimes, you know, as you're redefining yourself, you know, you may need a little assistance. You know, no man is an island. Sometimes we need those around us who can support us. And it's amazing how when tragedy strikes, you know who your friends are.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned that lesson too. There was some toxic people that were around me that I needed to get rid of in order to start moving in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have people who you realize are so reliant on you that you're an enabler for them instead of being a person who is empowering them. And so, you know, I had a lot of people that I was carrying, and then when I was down, I didn't have anybody to carry me.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a hard pill to swallow, because everybody, oh, I don't know what to do. And sometimes, how about just being there? How about asking if there's anything that I need?
Mm-hmm.
And no one really asked that question.
Just listening.
Yes. Yes. Just give me a chance to say something. You know, and there's, oh, well, girl, you know, I'm tired, and girl, I'm in. Yeah, I found that, you know, I had to really look and see who those people were that were going to help to empower me and to grow me. They tell you, you know, in your circle, you should not always be the you know, the most powerful person, or the most influential person, or the, you know, the most knowledgeable person in your circle. You always want to have those who you can have a conversation with. And it's not always about you mentoring someone else. It's wonderful to be a mentor, but it's wonderful also to be mentored. So you want to be able to have people in your space or in your circle that are going to do that. They're going to help to advance you, to promote you, to encourage you, and you know, to give you what you need. You know, so that's an important part of redefining yourself too. Having that small circle, and it's going to be small. Trust me, it shouldn't be thousands of people. Be careful who you call friends. You know, be careful. You got a whole lot of associates. And it's like, yeah, that's my friend. Really? Is it friend?
Yeah.
Let something happen. See what happens. You'll see what you're calling them there. Okay. We'll find some other adjectives besides friends. So you don't want that to happen. You want to be in. You know, you want to have that space. So start evaluating the people that are around you. Are they energy vampires? Are they stealing your energy every time you talk to them? Are you exhausted when you get off the phone with them? Start looking at
right.
the people who are in your circle.
And this includes family members. Let me just add that in there,
that.
Kim.
Say that.
Includes family members as well.
Okay. Well, Jesus say Jesus was not. he was not recognized by people in his own town. Okay, we're not gonna go there. That's another show. We're not gonna go there. But yes, just like you said, your own family. Sometimes you have to make those decisions to you know, remove those people out of your space that are going to stunt your growth. That are going to be those crabs in the barrel that are going to pull you down. You want those people that are going to encourage you and to you know, not think that the ideas that you may have are ridiculous, or oh, that's stupid. You're too old for that. You can't do.
Right. You
know anybody gonna do. You want somebody who's gonna be your ride or die, who's gonna be like, yeah, girl, okay, we're gonna do this. Oh, you want to be on the pole? I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna hold the pole for you, so that way you don't fall down.
Yes.
Be that person.
Right.
Now that's your person. Now that's your ace. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
Somebody who's gonna be there to support you.
I went through that also, as far as trying to define who my friends were, and when I was going through that, y'all, I took, and maybe you could try this. I took the time to list I put them in categories: my associates, my friends, my companions, and then my friends who were like family to me. I had four categories. My associates, yeah, it was my associates, my companions, my friends who were like family,
And your friends.
and then my
And
friends.
just your regular friends. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So that made the whole thing easier for me. And I found, like Kim was saying, my circle of those friends, those ones who are like family to me, there's only two of them.
Right.
It's only two of them. So
There's
our
the two.
circle consists of three people. So
That's it. I
yeah,
have six.
it works if you try it.
Right.
It will help make a big difference in your life as well, because those people in that circle, they will always be there for you.
That's right.
At least that I'm speaking from my experiences. What about
Yeah.
you, Kim? Can you say
Yeah.
that about your circle of?
Absolutely. I do a workshop called Redefining You. And one of the activities that I give my clients to do is it has a circle in the middle and it says Team Kim. Then it has a little lines going out of it. And then I tell them, put those people who you feel are in there. And the one thing that's important to remember about it, about when you're talking about those who are close to you want to consider this. You know, it's somebody who's earned that space.
Yes.
It's not somebody who is in that space by default. Just because it's your brother or your sister or somebody who you've known for years, that does not mean that they automatically qualify as a person to be in your inner circle. And I think some people say, oh, well, me and her been friends for years. But she could have been getting on your nerves for years. You know what I'm saying? You never know. So my thing is, that person has to earn that space in your circle.
Yes.
There has to have been a situation or a time where something happened and that person was there. Or, it's that person that immediately comes to your mind because that's that person. If something happens, you can pick up that phone and call that person.
Yes.
If you were to go to jail that day, who would that person be that you would call?
Yes.
That person who's in your circle. You're not going to just call random, but you're going to call somebody who is going to come with the money and get you out. So you know what I'm saying? Those are the kinds of things. Consider the people that are in your circle. They are not there by default. They have earned that space in your circle.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, so you said you had 3 words you wanted to share with us.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So if I had to leave your listeners with 3 words, there would be 3 words, and they are words that I've used in books that I've written. And that's inspire, transition, and transform. And the reason why I use those words, because we are to inspire others and to be inspired by others to make the transitions or the changes that we need to make in our lives so that we can transform into the person that we're supposed to be. And then we're able to reach back and bring others along with us and help them to be inspired. And then the cycle continues from there. We're continuing to inspire each other, to transition, and to learn and to grow so that we can be in a state of transformation, so that we can be that person that we're called to be. And so those are my 2 words.
I like that.
Yes.
Wait, you sure you're not the other co-host of our podcast?
Come through. I got a mic. Slide over. Look, if I'm trying to work on my weight, I can slide in the middle there. I can be off to the side.
That's right.
We get a bench. We'll get a bench.
No, that's good stuff, though. Good stuff.
Yes.
Wow.
Absolutely. Okay, so well, were you about to say something? No. Okay, so we hope you've gotten something from this presentation. I hope that we have said something that could help make you into a better person. Kim, I really like those 3 words that you use. I use them as well at different times, but I can say that they work. If you decide to apply them to your life, they will work for you. What about you, Star?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, that was really, really powerful. I may be saying, as Kim said, now moving forward, I'm like, hey, as my girl over here, Kim said, we got to do these 3 things right now. Okay. So this is how we're going to make this work for sure. But before we close this out, please tell us, a little bit about how we can find you, and especially about your podcast, because it is very, as you were going through your victories and all of that, you know, I can definitely see that connection. So if you can talk a little bit about that and tell people how they can find you as well.
Absolutely. Thank you again so much, guys, for having me. I have just, this has just been delightful. And, you know, anytime I have an opportunity to share, you know, I'm hoping that, you know, at least one person can walk away with something. And so I appreciate, again, the space. People can reach me at Linktree is the best way. It's www.linktree.ee/how now. And that will allow them to, they'll get to my Redefining You website. They'll get to the How Now podcast website. They can find my Amazon authors page for the books that I've written. So it's just a one-stop shop to find anything having to do with myself or my businesses. And as Star mentioned, I'm the host of the How Now podcast. Like I said, we talk about how to live in the now. And so I'm blessed that, you know, Star and Anton will be guests on my show in just a couple of short weeks. They will be airing on my show. And like I said, we talk about living in the now. We talk about relationships. We talk about those things that are going on in the now. And so when you go to the website, you're able to pick any platform that podcasts are aired on and pick your favorite, and then, you know, like, follow, and share. So I'm excited about that. It's the How Now podcast, www.hownowpodcast.com. So I think that's it. Those are the ways that they can reach me.
All right.
Okay. Well, thanks for joining us, Kim. And
My
we'll
pleasure.
talk to you next time. Y'all have a
All
good
right.
night.
Take care.
All right.
Peace.
Bye-bye.
Peace.